The stock market is not a machine, it's a mirror, reflecting back the emotions of every man and woman who enters it. Fear, greed, hope, and pride. These four have ruled every ticker since the dawn of trading. I stood in the bucket shops of the early days, listening to the clatter of the tape. I watched men win fortunes by morning and lose them by evening. Through it all, one thing became clear. Human nature never changes. And because human nature never changes, the same market principles that worked a century ago still work today. If you wish to trade and survive, you must learn more about yourself than about price. Market psychology is simply the study of crowd behavior, and the crowd is nothing but human emotion multiplied by money. Every rise, every crash, every sudden panic is only mass feeling expressed in numbers. Why does this matter? Because when you understand emotion, you understand timing. When the crowd is terrified, opportunity is close. When the crowd is greedy, danger is near. The chart is only a visual record of how people feel. That's why the first rule of trading is emotional control. The ticker does not decide your fate. Your reactions do. Learn to observe price without trembling. When everyone else feels panic, you must feel calm. When others chase the market, you must stand still. A trader who cannot control himself will never control his account. You can memorize every technical pattern in existence, but without discipline, you'll still lose. Discipline is the backbone of profit. Without it, every system collapses into chaos. Now let's speak of risk, the word traders love to ignore. Risk management isn't an accessory to trading, it is trading. It's the invisible shield that keeps you alive when your ideas are wrong. And believe me, even the best traders are wrong more often than they admit. Risk begins with position sizing. Never bet so much that one mistake ends your campaign. I used to say, a man must keep an army of dollars, never send them all into battle at once. That still holds true. Your position should be small enough to fail with grace, but large enough to matter when you are right. The purpose of trading is not to be right, it's to survive long enough for your edge to reveal itself. A small risk and a large reward. That is the mathematics of the market. When you understand this, you no longer feel the urge to gamble. Gambling is impulse disguised as courage. Speculation is patience disciplined by reason. There is a world of difference between them. Now, technical analysis, the modern trader's religion. Yes, charts matter, patterns matter. Price action tells the truth, but never worship lines on a chart as if they were prophecy. They are merely footprints of behavior. What matters most is how you interpret those footprints. A breakout means nothing without volume. A pullback means little unless fear is present. Technical analysis is only a language. You must learn to speak it with logic, not emotion. In my time, we didn't have screens. We had the ticker tape, a continuous whisper of price across a paper ribbon. We called it reading the tape. Every flicker, every pause, every rush of numbers told a story about who was winning and who was losing. I learned to read that story until I could feel it in my bones. When buying came heavy, I knew the crowd was excited. When the tape slowed, I felt hesitation. Tape reading was not about predicting the future. It was about sensing the present with absolute clarity. You can still read the tape today, only the form has changed. Price action is the modern tape. Learn to see beyond the candles and indicators. Learn to read intention. That's where real trading begins. And then there are pivotal points, the moments that separate noise from movement. Every great trend starts with a break from equilibrium. That is the pivotal point. It's the instant the market stops asking questions and starts giving answers. Recognize it when you see it. A sudden surge of price, a decisive shift in momentum. The tape screams before the news does. When that happens, act, but only after confirmation. Patience before entry, boldness after confirmation. That is how I built my fortune. Most traders lose because they act in reverse. They are bold when they should wait, and hesitant when they should act. This is the psychology of failure. Trading mindset is not built on excitement, but on calm. When I placed a trade, I felt nothing. No joy, no fear. If I felt emotion, I reduced size. Emotion is a warning that your judgment is compromised. Control yourself and you'll control your profits. Lose yourself and the market will strip you bare. Losses will come, they always do. But losses are not tragedy. They are tuition. Each one teaches you a rule your pride refused to learn. What you call a loss today may be the reason you win tomorrow. Ask any trader who has survived for decades. He will tell you the same. Survival comes before success. Because you cannot profit from a market you are no longer in. Now discipline, the eternal rule. The market tests it every day. It whispers, break your rule just this once. And that whisper has destroyed more traders than any crash in history. I never trusted luck. I trusted consistency. The secret to wealth is repetition of good habits. Do the right thing long enough, and the results will follow. True wealth has nothing to do with how much you make. It has everything to do with how much you can keep, and how you behave while keeping it. Wall Street taught me that success is never owned. It's rented, and rent is due every single day, paid in discipline, patience, and humility. Let me tell you something about Wall Street history. I lived through panics. Through booms, through the roaring 20s and the Great Depression that followed, I saw men who thought they were gods reduced to beggars in months. Every time the cause was the same, greed unchecked by discipline. It doesn't matter if it's 1929 or 2025. Human behavior repeats. The faces change, the tickers change, but the story is always the same. That's why my rules still stand the test of time. Markets evolve, but principles endure. And those principles are simple. Protect your capital, control your emotions, trade only when the odds are clear. Let profits run and cut losses without hesitation. Do that long enough and you won't just survive, you'll prosper. You'll walk through chaos with calm. You'll see opportunity where others see disaster. Wealth isn't an accident. It's the natural result of patience meeting preparation. Those who seek shortcuts never find them. Those who follow principles never need them. I have been rich and poor more times than I care to count, but I learned that the only wealth that lasts is wisdom. Money without wisdom is a burden. Wisdom without discipline is wasted. So guard your discipline as you guard your fortune. Every rule I ever wrote, every loss I ever endured, was simply life teaching me this. You do not beat the market, you align with it. Be the calm in the storm. Be the observer, not the reactor. Let others scream while you listen. Let others guess while you wait. And when the time comes, act with quiet confidence. The market doesn't reward those who shout the loudest. It rewards those who think the longest. If you master your emotions, you'll master the game. Because the real market is not out there on the screen, it's inside your own mind. That truth has never changed, and it never will. So remember these words when the charts flicker red, when the crowd panics, when you're tempted to break your plan. Stay patient, stay disciplined, stay deliberate, because fortune does not favor the reckless. It favors the disciplined. This is Jesse Livermore, and these are the principles that made me, and can still make you, a trader who endures when others fall. There's something every trader must face sooner or later, the moment when the market humbles you. You can have the perfect analysis, the perfect entry, the perfect conviction, and still lose. That's when you realize the truth. Trading isn't about controlling price. It's about controlling yourself while price moves. You cannot demand anything from the market. You can only prepare yourself to react correctly when it moves. That's why I always said, it's never your thinking that makes money, it's your waiting. Waiting requires strength. It's the kind of strength that doesn't show in your face or your voice. It shows in your discipline. Every time you resist an impulse trade, you're training your will. I learned this the hard way. There was a time when I believed speed meant intelligence. The faster I reacted, the smarter I thought I was. But markets don't reward speed. They reward precision and patience. In 1907, I saw the tape move like I'd never seen before. Stocks falling like dominoes, men screaming on the floor, and yet amid all that chaos, I saw clarity. The tape was screaming panic, and panic meant opportunity. I sold short while others were still buying, not because I was fearless, but because I listened when others shouted. And when the panic broke, I stopped. Not out of greed, but out of respect for the market's power. That trade made me a fortune. But more importantly, it taught me something eternal. Markets are ruled by emotion, and emotion is predictable only when you are calm enough to see it. This brings us to the heart of price action, the rhythm of movement that reveals the soul of the market. Price tells you everything. If you stop trying to make it say what you want, it's the most honest voice in finance. It lies to no one, but few ever listen. When I study a chart, I don't see lines, I see people. Their fear, their excitement, their hesitation. Every candle is a confession. Every spike is a shout. Every consolidation is the crowd catching its breath before the next mistake. If you learn to see that, truly see it, you don't need to predict. You only need to react correctly. That's what tape reading really means. It's not about chasing numbers, it's about reading emotion disguised as math. A good tape reader hears whispers others miss. He senses exhaustion before reversal and confidence before breakout. That was my edge. Not intelligence, not education, just the ability to wait until the market told me the truth. You see, Wall Street never changes. It's always the same story, played by different actors with newer tools. The rules that guided me 100 years ago still guide the best traders today, because it's not the technology that wins. It's temperament. It's not the algorithm that survives, it's awareness. Risk management is awareness made practical. Every trade you take is a decision between survival and destruction. Your stop loss is not a restriction, it's a lifeline. And yet most traders treat it like a suggestion. When you move a stop just a little, you move closer to ruin. One excuse at a time, until the market teaches you the final brutal lesson, that discipline delayed is discipline destroyed. If you truly wish to last, make your first thought about risk, not reward. Ask, how much can I lose, before you ever ask, how much can I make? That question separates the novice from the professional. The amateur seeks profit, the professional seeks survival, and the one who survives longest eventually gets all the profit anyway. Wealth in trading is not created in moments. It's created in cycles through seasons of growth, loss, and renewal. Your goal is not to win every battle, but to make sure you live to fight the next one. You can study charts, watch indicators, follow news, but all those things only matter if your mind is clear. The mind is the true chart. If your emotions are wild, every candle looks dangerous. If you're calm, every chart speaks logic. I've seen traders lose everything, not because they didn't understand markets, but because they didn't understand themselves. A man can't handle $1 million if he can't handle 1,000 wisely. Money amplifies character. It makes the foolish reckless and the disciplined unstoppable. That's why wealth principles are never just financial. They're emotional. You don't earn money, you grow into it. Your wealth expands to the size of your self-control. A trader's greatest weapon isn't a system, it's stability. Stability of mind, stability of routine, stability of focus. When you cultivate that, you don't chase the market, you attract opportunity. Every great trader I ever met had one thing in common. They were calm under pressure. When everyone else shouted, they whispered. When the crowd panicked, they waited. When opportunity came, they acted without hesitation. That's how you win in trading and in life. Patience when others act in haste. Clarity when others drown in noise. You must also learn to take breaks. No one can think clearly when exhausted by charts. Rest is a part of discipline, not a reward for it. A fatigued trader becomes a desperate one, and desperation is the mother of bad decisions. Step away from the screen, touch the real world. The market will still be there when you return, but your mind will be stronger, your patience sharper, your instincts reset. Remember, trading is not about prediction, it's about preparation. It's not about knowing what will happen next, but knowing what you'll do when it does. That's how you manage risk, not by controlling markets, but by mastering response. When you can lose gracefully, you can win endlessly, because the man who can face loss without panic is the one who deserves to profit. Do you see now why most fail? It's not lack of knowledge, it's lack of patience, not lack of skill, but lack of self-control. That's why I always said, the market never beats you, you beat yourself. Those words were true in 1920, and they're still true now. So let your journey as a trader be a mirror. Every time you lose control, learn from it. Every time you hesitate, study it. Every time you succeed, stay humble. That humility will keep you grounded when profits tempt arrogance. And that awareness will protect you when losses tempt despair. Trading is a paradox. You must be confident yet humble, bold yet cautious, calm yet alert. Balance is your true strategy. Technical analysis may show you entries, but balance keeps you alive long enough to use them. I once met a young trader who asked me, "Mr. Livermore, what's the secret to your success?" I smiled and said, "There's no secret, only self-control practiced for a lifetime." He thought I was joking, but he'd learned, just like we all do, that success is not something you discover, it's something you become. Every day in the market is a test of character. Every trade is a mirror reflecting your discipline. When you understand that, you stop chasing the next big thing and start refining yourself. That's when everything changes. Because trading mastery isn't about conquering Wall Street, it's about conquering the man in the mirror. And when you do that, when your emotions obey your reason, you've already won no matter what the price does. That victory, silent and internal, is the only one that truly lasts.